Hey everybody, welcome back to Tide Talk. I hope you guys are coming off a great Christmas, getting ready for a fantastic 2022. I'm here with my buddies Jimmy and Mo, getting ready to talk about, once again, Alabama being in the playoffs, national title hunt. A lot of conversation to be had about the team. Who is it we're playing again?
We are playing the Bengals of Cincinnati. That's what I was told.
Might be a better game.
It's not the Bengals?
It's the Bearcats.
It starts with a B, same difference, right?
It's
close enough.
You're talking about the basketball team?
Do they? I asked earlier, a buddy of mine, Blaze, and he'll be coming in and watching the game. I said, do they even play football?
Sounds kind of hot. Anyway, yeah, Cincinnati, yeah, thanks. And somebody's birthday today, and it's not his.
Not mine.
Toygar, is it your birthday?
So,
it is.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Thank you,
Mr.
guys.
Taylor.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate that.
41.
41 today.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kind of interesting. The first time
Non-Power 5.
Non-Power 5. So, a lot of hype about that. A lot of conversation about who's disrespected and who's not and who's the underdog and who is. And, I guess, we've said before, go back to 2012 when we played Notre Dame, they had to hype the game because everyone kind of assumed that Alabama would dominate the football game, and we ended up doing that. The whole thing about Manti Te'o and his, fake girlfriend, and just, they had to talk about that. Mm-hmm. Do you have that same feeling about this game, Maurice?
Well, yeah, I didn't give Notre Dame much respect for that one either. I thought the best game that year was Georgia-Alabama, as probably is the case this year. This year is just, to me, with Alabama and Cincinnati, comes down to attitude, plain and simple. It's a non-Power 5. Technically, Notre Dame's a non-Power 5 because they're not the conference.
Right.
So, look, Jimmy just learned something.
Every day.
All the time.
Every day I'm
Never
learning
stop.
something.
You're welcome. So I don't think, as far as athletes go, but I'm not saying I'll give you my prediction in, but I'm just saying athletic-wise,
So what you're saying is we shouldn't believe all the hype and all the talk.
What hype?
About how great Cincinnati is, and
God.
man, they almost beat Georgia last year, and they've got athletes, and they've got quarterback that does this, and their defense
draft
is that.
picks in the defensive backfield.
So we shouldn't buy into all that. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The short answer is yes.
So,
I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, too, you're talking about the attitude, but you're also talking about the athletes that are going to be on both sides of the ball, and yeah, they may have a handful or so maybe, but they shouldn't match up against us very well. So.
I've said this before, and I firmly believe this. On any given day, a team can show up and play their best, and another team, and in this case Alabama, not played their best, and that team has a chance to win.
Absolutely.
I firmly believe if Cincinnati plays their best football game and Alabama plays their best football game, we convincingly beat them because of the talent that's on the field and on the sideline. Mm-hmm. But let's go a step past that. Man, I think Fickell is a really good football coach.
Yeah.
He's not Nick Saban. He has still a lot to prove to even be in that conversation. Not that is a conversation, but when you break down coaching, players, defense, offense, special teams, when you look at that, Cincinnati has to play a perfect football game, and Alabama has to play poorly for Cincinnati to win. That's my thought. And yes, we'll make predictions, but just, I just think that this is not a contest.
I will say this, and I don't know when you wanted me to let go, start my rant. Which camera?
Now.
Which camera?
Hey, it's a good time now. We got 3 minutes left in this.
All right. Well, I know local favorite Cohen. He's already in Dallas. They arrived on the 26th. But I will say this, and y'all can laugh at me, but understand where I'm coming from. This is without a doubt the biggest game in the University of Alabama football history. Case in point, Cohen, tell your teammates, if you lose this one, you will forever be remembered as a team that lost to the non-Power 5 conference. Not only that, but you were Alabama. You were the greatest, this and that, and so forth. This will be equal to Michigan losing to App State. The only reason that would be different is because they were 1AA at the time. This, and not to add any more pressure, but it's like Coach Stalin said, if you don't think the next game's important, try losing it. So, if you
that's a good perspective.
You take this game lightly, I got news for you. I don't even know if Cincinnati went home for the holidays. I hadn't heard that much out of them, except for one or two little things. I think they've been focused. I think they want to punch us in the mouth, and I think they just want to come in and prove themselves, kind of like when they went to South Bend this year and played Notre Dame, and won handily.
Yeah, well, of course they want to come out and prove something, obviously. But I absolutely agree with you.
That's a good perspective. I agree.
I mean, if Alabama loses this game, we'll never talk about all the other championships and all the other wins under Saban's
That is correct.
era. We'll only talk about, God, remember that year that Cincinnati beat Alabama? I mean, that's all they'll talk about. Not just us, for everybody. For that matter.
It'll be the laughing stock. I hate to say it. It'll be somewhat like when USA Olympic team in '80 beat the Russians, and that wasn't the finals. The next game, I believe they had to play Finland to win the gold. And Herb Brooks said, "You'll regret this for the rest of your life if you lose this one."
But do we agree? I hear what you're saying. I agree. That's a great perspective. No doubt about it. I think it boils down to what we just said just a few minutes ago, and that's attitude.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's talent. I mean, if you match it up person for person on both sides of the ball, it's certainly not talent.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, Jerome Ford not scratching the surface to play for Alabama, goes to Cincinnati.
Now we say that. Now this year, he could have been.
May have had a chance, but
Alvin Kamara?
based on injury,
Right.
But I mean, he's fourth on the depth chart back then. So
was Alvin Kamara when he was a freshman.
Correct. So again, it's about attitude.
Right.
What attitude are we taking into this game? Is it what Will Anderson said? We're still being disrespected. We have been all year, especially the defense. You know, if you heard Pete Golding talk about their progression, what they've done over the course of, and we've all said in previous shows, man, our defense has gotten better and better and better and better and really looked good against Georgia. So great perspective, maybe the biggest game because of the what if. It's about the attitude, in my opinion, about the attitude. So we'll keep on with that dialogue. Let's take a quick break. Bob English, thank you for being our host, our sponsor for the past few years, especially now this year. Looking forward to doing it again in 22. But on behalf of Bob English and State Farm, hold your seats, Tide fans. We'll be right back with Tide Talk.
Hey, Bob.
In life, some things just go together, like a burger and fries, and home and auto insurance from State Farm. So make it a combo. Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Just call me, Bob English, or any of my experienced hometown team and find out how you could start saving today. It's just another way.
All right, welcome back, Tide fans. We were talking right there, that last segment, just about attitude. We all agree, we all believe that if we go in with the right attitude, we should be able to win this football game. We were talking right there at the break, Jimmy, some of the things that you've heard and read and seen just about the approach that we're taking. And we, as in the University of Alabama, has said this numerous times. This is not a bowl game. This is not for the spectacle. This is not about, let's go out and see. It's a business trip.
Right. Yeah, Will Anderson said that, this isn't vacation. It is a business trip. And he said, don't worry, Tide fans. We're treating this like a business trip. I thought it was interesting. I read something, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, about when both teams arrived in Dallas. Alabama, again, man, got checked in, and their focus is the game and started preparing and whatnot. And well, Cincinnati went and watched the Cowboys play the Redskins, so they're kind of taking in the sights and enjoying the moment. Where Alabama's like, man, we're not going to do that. We're here to play football, not sightsee, And so if you read into all that and you believe in all that.
I wonder if they saw the Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen.
Yeah, right. That was funny.
So, Maurice, let me ask you this question to add to that.
By the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Do you believe that 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds can turn that on and off? Do you believe they can go and experience, the NFL game, Cincinnati's first time doing it? Can they do that and then still refocus, and especially their first time?
Didn't you just ask me that? No, so
I knew that was coming.
So anyway, 18, 19, 20-year-olds usually cannot, because it's a first-time event, being in that situation. We have the luxury of being in this situation before, not, per se, Dallas. I mean, last year, can't remember where we were, but we were there. So
we know that.
Exactly. So the fact that the Bearcats they take in an NFL game and
see the sights.
I mean, Jerry's World is pretty nice building. From what I understand, it has everything that you could possibly want there. And so you get kind of lost and everything, and I think it's great. And realize that we had chosen, or it was decided that we wouldn't be attending that to stay focused. Like I said, we've been there, so I think it helps us, advantage us. And as much as Cincinnati may have been focused, that's a little something, because it's not really a bowl game; it's a semifinal tournament game. You don't ever hear, a little case of comparison, you never hear any things about the teams that are in the Final Four. Oh, well, the Final Four was in Seattle and they went to see the sights. No, they go there, they practice, they get ready for for that game, for that Saturday.
We hear a lot about the moment being too big, for whether it be a player or a team. I mean, is there truth to that? I mean, is this moment going to be too big for Cincinnati? I mean, I know they played Georgia last year. I know it wasn't the semifinals or a playoff game, but they showed up for New Year's 6 and played Georgia down to the last minute. So are they going to be able to carry that little bit of experience over to this game? So how much of that do we read into? I know obviously Alabama's been there and done that. It seemed like this is kind of a deja vu show because we seem like we're there every year.
Right.
But
got your notepad up? You ready?
Yeah.
Just record it. We are. But here's the difference. And last year I picked Cincinnati to cover against Georgia. They were a good team, still are. But the reason is, somebody that used to wager every now and then, I stopped. But you look for those teams in bowl games that really don't want to be there. Georgia was that team last year, but they still won.
Alabama, Utah.
There you go. Perfect. It's the team that says, I should have been somewhere else, but I'm here. I'm just going through the motions. And I'm not trying to take anything away from it. Was a great game by Cincinnati and Georgia. Georgia pulled it out. This is not the same situation. So, and again, like last night,
the stakes are a little higher.
Watching Texas Tech and Mississippi State, anytime a team plays an SEC team, that's their opportunity for validation.
Correct.
Doesn't matter who it is.
It goes back to what I said about for one night or for one game.
Sure.
A team can show up with the right motivation. They can play, flawless football or nearly flawless football, and they have a chance to win.
They have a chance, but if the other team is taking it seriously, then your chance just went out the window.
And so here's a question. We've talked about this. So if Cincinnati plays their best game, and the Alabama team that played Auburn, or the Alabama team that played A&M, or the Alabama team that showed up for Florida the second half, or we've seen that team show up too many times this year for Alabama. Is that still going to be good enough for Alabama to win the game?
Listen, I think that Cincinnati has to play a perfect game, and even if Alabama does not, we still have a chance, because we go back to the things we said before: talent, coaching. Talent. X's and O's, Jimmy's and Joe's. I mean, at the end of the day, Jimmy's and Joe's make it happen, and So yes, I think we still have a chance. We don't have to play a perfect football game because I believe top to bottom we're more talented. I believe top to bottom we're more talented.
Well, we are missing one important Joe. I didn't want to say Jimmy. No, not you. It's
Right,
another
no, of course
Jimmy.
not.
It's
I
another
understand.
Jimmy
No
I know.
offense. I'm
Jimmy
good.
But
Harden,
that's right.
good friend of mine. But the Joe that we're missing that is John Mechie.
But you know, we've said it all year long. I mean, next guy up. Next guy's got to step up.
But
He's a difference maker.
yes,
Yeah, he's a difference maker.
He's extremely different. I mean, there's never been a time in our lifetime, I don't think ever, you probably know this, has there ever been 2 1,000-yard receivers on our team at the same? No. So that was it, you know. And here's the chance for Brooks or whoever, Ajay Hill, somebody to step up.
Holden.
Hold.
Yeah.
Hold somebody. I don't know, but
One would think it would be Brooks
Right.
based on
Well, you know, it's funny because we
Auburn
haven't really talked
production.
about the whole breakdowns and how we're going to approach the game, or as far as the team's going to approach the game. And I am going to be interested to see because, you know, reading, you know, Cincinnati's defense it supposedly is a lot like Ole Miss's as far as their scheme goes. Well, last time I checked, we hung about 50 on Ole Miss's defense.
well, if you're talking about quotes, I don't know if you saw the defense coordinator quote from Cincinnati is we're going to throw something at them that they haven't
Well, of
seen.
course they will.
They're going to
Well,
have
I mean,
to.
Every defensive quarter does that every week.
But if we're truly, you know, as far as the matchups, I think I saw something about our offensive line averaging 310 pounds, and their defensive line is averaging 260 pounds. So why would we not just line up and just run the football?
Well, if they come out of that
use the
3-3-5,
pass here and there,
yeah.
use our tight ends. I mean, is it necessary for Bryce Young to go out there and sling the ball around 50 times and for 400 yards?
Listen,
I'm saying-
again, it
I'm
goes back
saying
to what
not.
I said. It goes back to talent, coaching. I mean, if we hadn't identified that already, that we possibly can match up physically and just pound them
Yeah.
to open up the passing game. They have to be forced them to stop the run, that sort of thing. I mean, you know, I don't know. I'm not Bill O'Brien. I don't know, you know, what he's seen. I don't know what he believes that we can take advantage of. But I know this is going to be a great lead in to what we want to start in the third segment. You know,
What?
Bryce Young, you know, is the Heisman jinx? Is that going to be a factor? I mean, you know, so
I think each one of our Heismans has disproven that.
yeah.
Right.
So
well,
let's
my point too, just real quick, is I mean he's already won the Heisman. There's no reason for him to go out and try to win the
Correct.
Heisman in this game.
That's correct.
There's no reason for Bill O'Brien to try to win him the Heisman. Just go win the game.
And I don't think that Bryce Young has the mentality to do that. He's so calm. But anyway, that'll be a good third segment start. So let's take a quick break. On behalf of Bob English and State Farm, hold your seats, Tide fans. We'll be right back with Tide Talk.
Enjoy the good times a little more with the right plan. As your State Farm agent, I am here to help you protect your dreams and loved ones with life insurance. With over 60 years combined State Farm experience, call me or any of my team to find out which options are best for you. Another way we're here to help life go right.
All right, welcome back, Tide fans. So do you guys have any concern about that? I do agree. I mean, our last couple of Heismans didn't affect them. But you're talking about a quarterback who, you know, has all the calls and the checks that he's got to make and puts us in the right spots and puts us in the right plays and the setup and that sort of thing. And, you know, look, this is the kid's first year. Now, granted, he hadn't played like a first-year starter.
Well,
Will that be too big for him?
I said early
I
on
don't
that
think so.
this was going to be his year. And what? I called Mac Jones last year.
Yes,
Yeah.
you did.
You are-
I
you-
called
Yes,
him-
you did. Man,
You
you
are
are
known for
spot on.
calling,
You
yeah.
are known for calling the quarterback
I
play.
called him on the phone.
Yeah.
So no, I mean I don't think so because, like you said, his feet are definitely on the ground. I love his dad's quote at the Heisman: "If you're the best athlete at the gym,
Something's wrong.
Find another gym."
Something's wrong.
So always work to get better. So I don't think that's going to be a problem as far as his play.
Yeah, I think his demeanor. You know, the Joker's been special from day one. Just his demeanor. I mean, look, you can't take away. Go back to the Auburn game when there's no timeouts. There's a minute and 30 on the clock, and it's fourth down, and the Joker's smiling. I mean, they show that on
He said
camera.
this is a great opportunity
The Joker's
for us.
smiling.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, good grief, where do you see that happen all the time? I
Right.
mean, you know, I remember back in the day when McCarron was the quarterback and Saban was always on him about don't have either way, good or bad, emotion. I mean, kind of be even keel. And I think that Bryce Young is the epitome of even keel. You like that epitome?
I did. That's a big
But so yeah, I don't think so either. It's just a conversation. It's something to consider because they always talk about it, that Heisman jinx and how will he play after that. You're right. He's already won the Heisman. No need to go win it again. No need to try to do anything different than what you've been doing. You still got playmakers. Jamison Williams is still going to be on the field, at least to begin with, that we know of. And you mentioned Brian Robinson Jr. There's been no conversation that I've seen that he's not healthy.
Him and Sanders both, as far as I know,
are healthy.
Yeah.
So he's got playmakers around him. Somebody's going to have to fill Mechie's spot, but again, next guy up. He's not going to play, so you might as well get ready.
Right.
So, Jimmy, you got some stats for us.
Man, I got a few things to talk about.
Some good
Tide
stuff.
Fans. Here we go, Tide fans. So, it's hard to compare apples to apples when you're talking about college football teams because, again, everybody doesn't play the same schedule, everybody doesn't play the same team. But just a few things I found interesting just looking at some things. FBI Football Power Index, for those of you that didn't know that, for whatever it's worth, just looking at some of that, comparing teams, that kind of thing. Notre Dame was the highest ranking team that Cincinnati played, which was they had a number 5 FPI. Of course, Georgia's was Alabama at number 1. But, man, just looking down the list, Houston was 41, SMU 46, UCF 62, Tulsa 74, East Carolina 81.
Blaze. Tulsa 70.
Indiana 84, Miami of Ohio 85, Tulane 90, Navy 104, South Florida 107. Alabama's is Georgia at 1, Texas A&M 15, Ole Miss 17, Auburn 19, Miami of Florida 20. So you see where I'm going with that.
Where are you going?
Strength of schedule.
So then you fast forward to overall stats, team stats. So I just mentioned their schedule and then part of our schedule. Scoring offense for the year, Alabama ended up 4th in the nation at 42.5. Cincinnati finished 8th at 39.2 against that schedule.
Right.
Rushing offense, there's actually a little small advantage they had. Again, their schedule versus ours, but they ended up 49th in the country at 180 yards a game. We ended up 79th, we're 147. Passing offense, we ended up 7th at 347. They're 53rd at 248 per game. You move on to the next. Total offense, Alabama 6th at 495. Cincinnati 47th at 428, which is the worst of the 4 playoff teams. Third down conversions, which we talked about that all year long. Alabama ended up finishing 2nd at converting third downs at 53%. Cincinnati's tied for 58th at 41%. Red zone conversion. This is one I thought was really interesting. We ended up 11th at converting 91% of our red zone possessions. Okay. Cincinnati, 97th, only converting 78% of their red zone possessions.
Pretty interesting stat.
So jump forward to the defense real quick. Scoring defense, Cincinnati finished tied for 4th, 16 points a game. Again, with that schedule I mentioned, Alabama finished 18th at 20 points a game. Rushing defense, again, as I mentioned a second ago, rushing defense, Alabama finished 4th at 82 yards a game. Cincinnati gives up 138 yards a game, which was good for 44th in the country. If we can't run the football on them, something's wrong. Passing defense. Now, again, their strength versus our strength, essentially.
And they got one of the best DBs.
That's right. They talked about their corners and their defensive backs. They actually were 2nd in the country at giving up 168 yards a game through the air. We're 62nd, giving up 223 yards per game. Total, they were actually 7th at giving up 305 yards a game. We're 8th at giving up 306 yards a game. Third down opponents conversions, again, we only give up 32%. What did I say? They were only converting at 38 or 48, whatever it was. They give up 33% of the time, which is good for 20th. Their red zone defense gives up 0.66%. So So those are
It's
just
the matchups that we talked about.
The matchups we talked about. Time of possession, real quick, and penalties. You know, they're actually 74th in the country at 55 penalties a game. We're of course 117th. We talked about that at 70 points a game.
That's gotta change.
Time of possession. They're actually turnover margin. I did find this interesting. They actually were a plus 14 for third in the country, and we were a plus 10 for 11. So, just a few interesting things I found just going through
Good
some
stat.
stuff. So, anyway,
The reverse side of the coin for their strength of schedule, here's my opinion, and it's just my opinion, reverse side of the coin. We banged and battled in the SEC all year long.
Right.
You know, play Georgia, number one team, number one defense.
Arkansas, Tennessee.
You know, they played that schedule. So from a health perspective, from a just physical mentality, you know, is that the reverse side of the coin? Does that put them in a better situation? I don't know. Are we more battle tested? I believe we are. I think we're built for that. So we got to go to predictions. Who wants to go first?
he always likes going first.
He likes going first.
I do. Originally, coming into this show, I kid you not, I had us winning but not covering. Line is 13.5. It stayed there. I don't know if it's going to jump any on Friday or not. But after listening to some of the stats, I'm going to say, no, we cover fairly easy. I'm looking at a 42-17 game.
Wow, that was pretty. I was going to say 41-20.
So I talked to our old buddy Roy Dixon.
Oh, Big Roy.
Roy Dixon gave a 45-20 score, Alabama. I'm gonna alter from that a little bit because I am in agreement. It sounds like we're all in similar agreement, but I'm gonna say 45-17. I don't think they're gonna score a lot.
So you picked up a field goal over my prediction.
45-17 on both ends though. Oh yeah, you said 17.
I said
45-17.
So you got his All-American kicker kicking a field goal and topping my prediction.
Correct.
Just want to be clear.
Correct. So
And it'll probably happen because you got that golden horseshoe.
you know,
right.
and it is my birthday.
Oh yeah, I
It
didn't
is
know
right.
that. I heard he called and
Let's
told
not
me.
forget about the birthday.
So look, guys, it's going to be a fun game. Another opportunity to play for a national championship. I hope we take that attitude into this. I think if we do, we'll be successful. But looking forward to seeing the game. Guys, we'll be back here with you after the game next week and hopefully discussing a national championship playoff game. So, guys, watch the game. We'll be back here, Channel 207, and Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Happy New Year. Be safe.
Happy New Year.